Resident Evil 3 Remake. Unlike Resident Evil 2 Remake, I was hyped for Resident Evil 3. Though that does not make Resident Evil 2 Remake a bad game, I didn't know too much about the history of Resident Evil 2 Remake, but seeing the quality that that game provided last year, as it was one of the biggest games of last year, Resident Evil 2 Remake, I of course played it, and it was a great game. But what about Resident Evil 3 Remake, the sequel to it? After seeing how amazing Resident Evil 3 looked in trailers, how the demo for Resident Evil 3 Remake hyped up Nemesis, which is this game's tyrant, I was all in. Now it's time to talk about the full game. When first starting my first playthrough of this game, I had started on hardcore, and I will admit I bit off more than I could chew, and I did die, and I got near the end of the game, but I wasted all the bullets I could. So there's still some resource management you need to do in Resident Evil 3 Remake. So what I played on was hardcore. It is not the hardest difficulty in Resident Evil 3 Remake. That would be Inferno. But after watching a streamer play it on Nightmare mode, I am a bit hesitant to play it further, so I don't know. The game is fun, as it has a dodge mechanic replacing the defensive item from Resident Evil 2 Remake. In Resident Evil 2, you use knives to grenades to flash grenades, whatever it was, if a zombie was about to bite you. And if you didn't want to take damage, you could chuck the grenade inside of a zombie's mouth or stab them with the knife, and then boom, you can escape. In Resident Evil 3, they want you to rely on the dodge. There is two different types of dodges: a perfect dodge, which gives you iframes and makes you roll out of the way of zombies, and the imperfect dodge, which just moves you away from zombies. It can feel quite odd to dodge with Jill as Nemesis, the monster chasing you in Resident Evil 3, and is more used for boss fights, is relatively easier to manage to dodge than zombies when perfect dodging. Nemesis has telegraphed attacks, while zombies' lunges are unpredictable. It feels like most of the time I got lucky when I pulled it off. I more often times than not did most against Nemesis the perfect dodge. This is fine, as RE3remake's zombies were RNG related, also being random. The best thing to do that game was to shoot them in the knee and then hightail it out of there. Not in Resident Evil 3 Remake. The zombies take a lot of damage, and it takes a lot to take out their legs, and zombies often come in packs, making it hard to get rid of their leg, and then use your infinite knife in Resident Evil 3. The game is fun, but it has padding. In sections where they're trying to make the game a little bit longer, these sections I find the least fun in the entire game, and are annoying. I won't spoil them for related reasons and for people who are really interested in this game like I was. One of the problems with this game is the lack of Nemesis. When playing Resident Evil 2 Remake shortly before the launch of Resident Evil 3 Remake, I found it quite great how Mr. X chased you everywhere in the RPD, and I thought Nemesis is gonna be even scarier if he's running at you like the Resident Evil 3 original, with a rocket launcher in hand. In the Resident Evil 3 Remake, Nemesis doesn't chase you around much in Resident Evil 3 Remake. Again, I'll be avoiding spoilers for those looking to play this game, but it's disappointing to see how underutilized he is Nemesis compared to Mr. X in the Resident Evil 2 Remake to Resident Evil 3 Remake. The camera is also a problem in boss fights, and I don't know how they got past playtesting, but I'll keep it vague for what I'm talking about here to not spoil you guys. Another issue revolving around this game is with the reviews that many people are talking about when reviewing Resident Evil 3 Remake, which is how short it is. I beat this game in 5 hours, unlike Resident Evil 2 Remake, which took me 19 hours on my first playthrough, and then I proceeded to beat it under 2 hours on multiple playthroughs. Resident Evil 3 Remake is short, but so are the classics of Resident Evil 3 Remake games, like the original trilogy that came out back in the 90s. If you're buying this game on length, don't do it on that alone. Not onto the story in Resident Evil 3. As RE3 takes place before Resident Evil 2 and after Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 3 stars our character Jill Valentine as she's trying to survive the outbreak in Raccoon City called the T-Virus, spreading across the city and infecting its people, turning it into zombies. She's then met by a man named Carlos and Mikhail Victor, who then ask her if they can get help trying to get the subway train back online downtown in Raccoon City, as there's zombies in this outbreak of the city. Jill accepts their offer as they ask for help, and she proceeds to help them. The character interactions were great in this game, and Carlos is a great character, and Jill is a confident beast. But Nemesis, however, is terrifying, but after a few meetings afterward from the first and the third, he is no longer how he first was when you first see him. He is not frightening. Now, to answer the big question, is this game better than RE2 Remake? No, it isn't. Resident Evil 2 Remake has better replay value with different characters and scenarios and a lot going for it, like I've stated. You can play through Leon A or Claire B, and things are in different places. Mr. X shows up in different times. In Resident Evil 3 Remake, you know, they took out the live selections. They made a lot of cuts. They took out the clock tower that was in the original Resident Evil 3. They took out the park area, so those areas were cut. There is less replay value, and what they're trying to do is to mitigate that. They want you to play the higher difficulties or use the shop so you can be able to play the higher difficulties easier and get those S ranks or whatever like that. But yeah, I would have just liked to have played the modes normally and not have to rely on special equipment or anything like that, and just play it normally. But yeah, it's such a shame what they did with this game. It felt like it needed more time, and it feels a bit unfinished. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Resident Evil 3 Remake. I'd say maybe if you are really interested in this game, you know, maybe you should wait on sale for it. Really, you should maybe you should look at this game for how much you want to play Resident Evil 3, but I'd say wait on sale for Resident Evil 3. Overall, that's my review on Resident Evil 3. It's not better than Resident Evil 2. At best, this game is a 7 out of 10. But overall, guys, I'll catch you later. Adios, muchachos.